Hi, I'm Rob Pats.
I'm Jason Webb. This is Thrive with Rob and Jason. We're going live again. Take two, Rob. Awkwardness of live TV. Thrive with Rob and Jason. We talk about thriving in life, faith, business. You name it, we talk about it. We have a great guest today that we can't wait to get into. Introductions and talking with him here in a little bit. But Rob, you just got back from vacation.
I did. I got back from vacation. You know what I got to tell you, Jason? That
Yeah.
happened. Had a great vacation. I look tan. Well, actually, I'm peeling now, but we won't talk about that. California, Nevada are hot. Just for anyone that doesn't know, it's hot there. It wasn't supposed to be hot there because it's Tahoe, and for some reason, it was like ungodly hot. Wherever I go, Galveston last year, hot. Knew that was going to be hot. But this year, go to California, and it's like the people there go, this is about 10 degrees hotter than normal. I'm like, you're just killing me. You're killing me. I wanted to go to the mountains to have coolness because Ohio is warm this time of year. But yeah, didn't. But you know what? Super strange thing that happened to me. You know what happened?
What's that? I got to hear because I know a little bit about it, but yeah, you tell me.
So I get home and I get a get well note from my Amazon guy.
Is that how often he comes by?
He comes by so much. He thought we were sick because we were gone for 10 days. He goes, get well, hope to see you soon. And so everybody does Amazon. Hey, tell everybody a little bit about this.
Yeah, so Amazon, I have my own Amazon store, Robin, and we talked about this these last few weeks.
Probably bought from you then, buddy.
I have my own Amazon store, and if you click on the link here, it's not actually my store. It's a link where you can actually start to get your own store, have passive income, build things up where this company manages things for you. I highly recommend you checking out this because it is a secondary income source that can be for you. So check it out. Let me know what your thoughts are. I've been running it. I can show you my backside. It's been very lucrative for me being able to have that there as an extra income source. It's been fantastic to have my own Amazon store. So yeah, I appreciate you ordering from Amazon.
Yes, I do it often. More than we should, and that's why we wanted to talk about that. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun though. Had a great vacation. Came back with a little bit of a tan. I feel ready for the rest of the summer. Though, the one thing I have to say, if you have your vacation like you did, you were a week before me.
Yep.
On vacation. The only worry I have about this is that there is a lot of summer left.
There is, right? But see, I'm okay with the heat. Like heat is completely okay with me, Rob. We were just talking about this with my family last night. It's funny to bring this up. The Ancestry DNA testing, I got mine back. We're going through there and it tells you things that you're susceptible to and things within your DNA. My DNA, I tolerate heat well, and my family is making fun of me for this.
See, I'm Scandinavian. Yeah, it gets above 40 and we start like peeling clothes off. We're like, no, it's hot. It's hot. Oh yeah, you betcha. This is hot, So no, I'm definitely not good with that stuff. But man, I have to tell you, I'm excited about this guest.
Me too.
He's a cool dude. Even if he blew me off last year, which he'll tell you about coming up, man, he avoided me. I even wished him a Merry Christmas. And like, I don't think I even got a text back. I checked today. Don't think I got a text back from him on that. But here, maybe we're setting a precedent. You can avoid me and then you meet Jason and all of a sudden you're on the show. So I guess that's how this works. But hey, listen, I want you to introduce him, Jason.
Yeah, definitely. Anthony Curnutt is an incredible guy. I've got to meet him just in the last few days. We share a very similar background. It was scary and a lot of things that we've done in our lives currently and in our past, and just even in what he's doing currently with Real Men Ministries. Anthony, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your background, your Real Men Ministry. We'll dive into a lot of these things, but just give us a quick overview, brother.
Yeah, first off, I want to say thank you for allowing me on the show. And Rob, I'm so sorry. I'm sitting there in the green room and I'm going, oh my goodness, he's right. I did not text him back. That was not intentional. I'm not a complete jerk, right? I try not to be. And so I apologize about that. But yeah, thank you guys for allowing me on the show, even though I did blow him off, And so a little bit about me, I'm married. Have been for 21 years, to a beautiful woman, and the greatest gift God has ever given me. I've got 6 kids. I've been doing men's ministry for probably, I don't know, close to 10 years or so, and so God's just kind of taken that men's ministry and just adapted it. We've got a book out, Framework for Biblical Masculinity. Go ahead and give a plug for that there.
Yep. We'll throw that up there too. Yep.
And then, of course, we have the podcast, Real Men Talk. All that is geared towards discipling men, trying to equip them to be leaders of their homes, their communities, and their churches, godly, courageous men. And so, yeah, man, that's me in a nutshell, and
Brother, I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, man, just your heart with men's ministry has been amazing. Just our conversation so far. I just see we're kindred spirits with a lot of different things. When we talk about our show being Thrive, it's all about thriving life, business, faith, everything. You have your own business too.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I have a small business. I run a dump truck, excavating, different things like that. And so, yeah, I have
real men work, as we talk about,
that's
right?
right. That's right. Real men work. We do that.
Yeah, my background, being in truck driving, that industry for years. I never was a truck driver. My grandpa, my dad, my aunt, we had that in our family, and so we had some really cool talks when it came to that pieces of it. Working in the construction side, tires. So, man, I love you, man. Like I said, we're kindred spirits on a lot of different things, and I know I told you a little bit in my life about how the men's ministry is really where I found God. What inspired you? To really start Real Men Ministries?
Well, so it's actually funny. So I was a supervisor at a factory, and I started a small Bible study just at lunch and stuff, and I just had men, just kind of pouring into it, right? You're in a factory, you've got all types of men and different things like that, and so it kind of grew, and we had to move it outside of the factory and in this little town, and so I knew the guy that pastored the church there, so we moved it there, and it just adapted to men. Well, then as that grew, I began to notice that there are so many men who are hurting, right? That want to be good men, that want to be godly men, and they have no idea. They have no idea what's next. They have no idea what steps to take, right? And I begin to just pray, God, what do you have? Why do you have me in this position? What do you want me to do, right? How can I help these men? And he told me, he said, equip them, and that's what I've been doing for the last almost 10 years now, and trying to give them tools that they can use to be successful, successful husbands, successful fathers, leaders, every man. If you've listened to the podcast much at all, every man is birthed with a certain amount of influence. Whether you want it or not, it's in your DNA. That's the way God created you. You cannot walk into a room without leaving a measure of that. And influence is leadership. So no matter who you are as a man, you hold some type of leadership, right? You may not hold a title at work, anything like that. But if you're a husband, you're a leader. If you're a father, you're a leader, right? If you're inside the church, you're a leader, right? Yep. In some capacity. And it's about equipping men to use that leadership to further the kingdom of God.
No, completely. I agree 100%. The other day when we were chatting, you brought up a statistic that was really staggering about men's ministries and churches compared to women's ministries. Hit on that.
Yeah. So the men's ministries in the United States, only 20% of churches have got men's ministries, and 110% of churches in America have women's ministries. Right. And nothing, and this is not a shot at the women. This is not, anything like that. But, the men have slacked off for so long. Right. The women have had to take charge. I was at a church just the other day. My second oldest boy, he was preaching. We went to go watch him preach, and I was looking around, because everything I do is, my mind is geared towards men's ministry. So I'm looking around, like I wonder what kind of men's ministry they have, and I'm looking throughout the congregation. There's probably 40 people there or so, and there was one man, and I was like, oh my goodness, who's leading these people, right?
Yep.
Because the men have dropped the ball, and we're not talking about just now. This has been going on for 100 years, of just a snowball effect, and stuff. And I talk about that in my book, just the downfall of masculinity. And so now we're at this point where our churches have no other choice but to be ran by women, right? And kudos to them, right? This is not a shot at them.
They've stepped up,
Stepping up and taking the role that they didn't have to take, and leading those things. And so you see this lack of men's ministries because there's a lack of men in the church. There's a lack of interest, right? And so, but we know that God created order, right? You know, if God created order, that men are involved in that, and to equip men to be leaders in their churches, right? And to be leaders in their homes. You know, I say all the time, if you can get a man that is leading his home, that home will affect the church. That church will affect the community. You know, and it's about equipping men to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, you know, in your book, I know you did the shameless plug on that, but that's great, man. You know, Framework for Biblical Masculinity. It does offer, like, I've looked into this, you know, comprehensive guide for biblical manhood. Like, talk about that a little bit. Elaborate some more on the main principles of that.
Yeah, of the book.
Yeah.
So it's just it sets a framework, right? So it's so you have a man who wants to be a good father, who wants to be a good husband, right? And we live in a world where everything's just torn apart. You know, nobody knows what a woman is. Nobody knows what a man is. And if you have any kind of opinion, you're called toxic. You know, and if you're not, you're passive, right? You're just sitting back on the sidelines. You know, and men are confused. Men are lost. So this book sets a simple framework of what does a biblical man look like according to our supreme example, who is Jesus Christ.
Yep.
You know, when we can look at Jesus Christ for masculinity, then we can see what true biblical masculinity looks like. You know, and he showed us, you know, what it is to be a leader. He showed us what it is to be a father, what it is to be a husband. Right? You know, it's all inside the Word, and to set that framework, to set that down, and for people to be able to look at it and be like, okay, I have a framework, right? Let's start here. You know, and the thing about it is, I'm a simple guy, right? I don't beat around the bush. You know, I don't like for people to, I don't like things sugar coated. I want meat and potatoes, and that's it, right? And you know, sometimes that bites me in the butt, but
right.
But it's true. That's the way I am. So I wrote the book that way. You know, it's not very big. I remember the editor, he asked me, he said, "What's your vision for the book?" I said, "I want when a man picks up the book, he can go, I can read that." Right.
Yeah,
Because
not overwhelmed. It's you know, we're simple creatures. Make it simple. Get to the straight to the point. Don't put the fluff in there. Just get to it.
That's right. And so it gives any man. It doesn't matter what level you're on. You don't have to be a pastor. You don't have to be, you know, you don't have to be highly educated to read the book, right? Because I'm not highly educated and I wrote it. So I promise you, you know, but,
Man, don't even go down that path, because you are more educated than you put this off to believe, because we've had multiple discussions. You are an incredible guy, man.
Well, I appreciate that, you know, but I intentionally wrote it simple. You know, because I wanted to be accessible to anybody. I wanted any man that wanted to grow, that wanted discipleship, can be like, okay, I can start here, right? I can start here, and
I think it's a great start. And you know, in conversations that we both had about that book, there's a second book that you're working on. There's some curriculum that you're working on. There's a lot in that space. So talk about that.
Yeah. So right now we're in the process of creating curriculum. So the idea is that you can take the curriculum. It's going to be a 12 video series. You can take the curriculum in the book. You can take it into your church. Let's say you have a church that you have a guy who's hungry, who wants to start a men's ministry, but he doesn't know how. This is a starter package. Right. This will be a starter package. You can come in, you can take the video series. Okay. So this is where we start. Along with that, you know, gives access to coaching for men's ministry leaders from me, you know, being able to, okay, so I'm dealing with this. How do I do that? You know, and so that's kind of the vein of the curriculum behind the book. And I'm starting the second, which is just basically a continuation of framework.
Okay.
And it is how do we cultivate a culture of biblical masculinity?
Yes.
Right. So now that we have a framework, how do we take this and pass it to the next generation by forming a culture, right? You know, I think people underestimate, especially the church, underestimates our culture.
Oh
Does
yeah,
that make sense?
yeah, no, completely.
You know,
The generation of men that we are, we're roughly the same age. We grew up in a different era than our fathers, and it had been pushed more to women because you think about this, you know, in the baby boomer generation, you know, the man was the breadwinner. The way the economy was, they could provide for their family where there was more stay-at-home moms and different things. I'm not saying anything bad about any of this, but as our generation grew up, both parents ended up having to work, and
right.
the enemy started using this stuff to really divide and cause some issues. And so I I love this, man. Your Real Men's Ministries. Like I told you, this is where I found God, was in through men's ministries myself. I have a huge heart for men's ministries, especially as we raise up the new generation, bringing
Yeah.
our sons into the fold. Like you talked about your son speaking, that is incredible stuff, man. How old are your kids?
So my oldest is getting ready to turn 20.
Mhm.
He's actually in college to be a worship pastor. My second oldest, he turns 19 this year, and he's going to be a pastor. And then my youngest, so you got 20, 19. I got two 16-year-olds, 11-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And so my 4-year-old was a surprise, right? Funny story. If you want a good laugh, here you go. So we found out my wife was pregnant 2 weeks after I had scheduled my vasectomy. And yeah, it was meant to be, you know, like God was like, hey, you're not done yet.
You're not done yet. Yeah.
And so I cried for 2 weeks, but now I don't know what I'd do without him, you know. And
That's
so,
awesome.
but yeah, it's
Hey,
been,
mine range about the same. I have a 19-year-old daughter, 16-year-old daughter, 7-year-old son, and a 4-year-old son. So
you get it.
got the range as well, man. But
You get it.
hey, so you do lead an in-depth study on apologetics with Palace of Praise, right?
Yes.
Talk about that.
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, I got into apologetics, and I have it in the book. I love apologetics, right? So
Mhm.
there for a while, everything I did, you know, every podcast I listened to, every book that I read, everything was engulfed around apologetics. And I got noticing that most people don't even know what apologetics is. Like
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Define it, Anthony, define it for everybody. So there are probably people out there that don't know what it means.
Yeah. So the first thing that I get all the time was why should we apologize about our faith? Right.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely not. So apologia comes from 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 15 and 16. Right. It talks about always being ready to give a defense for your faith. Right.
Yep.
Well, that word defense in the Greek is apologia. Right. So it's the same term that we use in the court of law when somebody is given a defense, you know, for or against. Right. So it's basically defending your faith, right? You know, creation, you know, the accuracy of the word of God, you know, all these different things, and so in being able to give Christians tools to combat skepticism, atheism, you know, other religions that pose, you know, that you know, say that we're not, you know, it's wrong, right? And so it gives you facts. And this is, and again, this comes back to my personality. I am a meat and potato guy. I love facts, right? and so,
And you said you weren't smart, man. You already quoting scripture, and come on now, like it is about understanding and defending our faith in today's society. That's at the core of apologetics, from what I know, right?
yes.
Am I correct? Yeah.
Yes, 100%. And so being able to give them tools and stuff like that. And so I noticed that nobody really knew. Nobody understood what apologetics was, you know. And I go to, you know, our church runs, I don't know, maybe about 1,000 people or so. And I'm going, how do you guys not know, right? And I'm like, how do I get this to them? So I started teaching a Sunday school class about apologetics and just you know, just the foundation, right? There are people out there that are a lot smarter than I am, that have wrote books and, you know, and all this stuff. You know, somebody asked me the other day, you gonna write a book on apologetics? Probably not, because there are so many people who have done such a good job, right? That are so much better, so much educated. They're college educated. They know all these things, right? That I just gleaned from and stuff. And so, but on a local level, right? The average churchgoer, they don't even know what it is, right? And so I begin to wonder, and I put this in my book, if we don't know what we believe, how do we tell somebody else? Right.
Exactly. Right.
That's the thing. So, it is about defending your faith, but at the same time, it's about having the confidence that you know what you believe. Right. Yes. How, as a man, as a leader, right, how am I supposed to tell my children what I believe if I don't really know what I believe? If I don't know the scripture, right? If I don't know, the importance of understanding, that Jesus really did come, he really did die, he really did raise from the dead. The Bible really is historically accurate, and all this stuff can be backed up, right? And the evidence proves to a creator, right? All these these are facts. This is not.
Yeah, it's historical facts that can be proved not just with the Bible, but other ways. And also just looking at the Bible, it is still a living work. Every time I read that Bible, it changes every time in terms of how it interacts with me and what my life is today. So it's as relevant today as it was, 2,000 years ago.
That's right.
The facts are the facts, and that's a huge piece of this. And as men, again, kind of being demasculinized a little bit here, we have we've kind of shied away from that debate topic, or really holding any kind of values in this, like saying, hey, this is our true beliefs. And there's a movement on there where that's not the case there. We need to be able to bring in everybody's beliefs, which we can understand that and have respect for that, but also still standing on our own beliefs. That's right. Well,
the church. So I read a statistic by Barna Group. They did a statistic, and it talked about only 17% of people who sit inside of church have a biblical worldview.
Yes.
Right? Now I don't know about you. That's absolutely heart-wrenching.
That's
right?
low. Yeah, that's low.
Yeah, you figure only 9% of the population in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
How do I want to say this? Only 9% of them in the United States claim to be even be a born again Christian, and then only 17% of them have a biblical worldview. Like that's tough, right? No wonder our nation is on the brink of falling apart. We're moral corruption at every corner, right? Because not even the church knows what it believes.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even the church. And so if it's going to change, we as men have got to stand up and be like, okay, there is truth.
Mm-hmm.
There is absolute truth, right? There's none of this relative stuff, none of this postmodern crap. There is absolute truth. That truth is the word of God. And as men, we should dig into that. There is no truth outside of that, and that's just the way it is. And if there are so many facts that can back that up, right? If the Bible is historically accurate, and it is, there is way too much evidence to say otherwise, then we have to hold on to that, right? I talk about all the time. The Bible talks about having the faith of a mustard seed, right? Just a small amount. And I think that you only need that much faith because God has left so much evidence, right? We're just too lazy to go out there and get it.
It's the truth, man. It's the truth. I think I haven't even responded. I know we got on the same memo with hats. Rob didn't get the memo with hats, but this is my men's ministry that I'm a part of. This was the advance that we went to this year. So Rob, you didn't get that memo. I apologize, brother. Your hair's looking good though.
It does. It looks really good. And also I shaved. For those of you that don't know, I didn't shave my entire vacation. And so during the entire vacation, I didn't shave, but I felt like I didn't have a good enough, facial hair thing to compete with you guys. So I came in strong with shaving, and then I wore a cool shirt at least. At least I'm not wearing black. That was it.
But, see,
you totally missed out.
It's slimming for me, okay?
Hey, here's the thing I want to ask, Anthony.
Sure.
So if you're a pastor out there, how can they get a hold of you, and can you help them launch a men's ministry in their church?
Oh, 100%, especially once the curriculum comes out, but even before then, you can email us realmen@palaceofpraise.com. You can go to our website, www.realmenministries.us, which is
QR code right there. Yep.
And you can get us there. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. And we would love to hear from you. Check out our podcast. Real Men Talk. You can get on any major, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Well,
Comcast,
hey,
all that good stuff.
and you're going to start getting some of this content with Abundant TV as we build this up as well, right?
100%. 100%. I'm excited about it. So be looking for more of me, on Abundant TV. And so,
dude, I love it, man. One thing I want to bring into this, as part of your ministry, community and accountability. It's huge with us with men. It's a big part of your ministry. Can you share like a couple success stories with guys in your ministry or anything that just kind of really flows out? Jesus taught with parables, and stories is what changes lives. Like, give me a story, man, to kind of finish this up as we close up here. We got a couple more minutes, but let me know something.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
There's so many, I know, but I'm throwing you on the spot.
And we've had men show up, in our men's group drunk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Come in completely first time they've ever stepped foot in the church, right? And and as men, you just take them in, right? We're supposed to love like Jesus, and some of those men today are running their own ministries, right? They come in broken. They find Jesus, right? Just like you did through men's ministry, because they feel that, they would have never showed up to a service where there's 1,000 people. They would have never done that. You hear
the corner. We'll stay behind. We won't lock to that door. Yep.
That's exactly right. But when they get a group of men, there's a vulnerability there that is able to happen because we're all on the same page, right? Yep. There's we sit in that room. There's nobody greater than anybody else in that room. We're all struggling. We're all trying to be good husbands. We're all trying to be good fathers. We're all trying to be good men, good leaders, right? And so to set that atmosphere, and then somebody like that come in and just feel accepted, to come in and be like, okay, so I don't have to continue living the way that I am. I see that I don't have to be perfect, right? I hear all the time, well, I've got to fix myself before I get in the church. Well, that's not. That you won't ever find that in the Bible ever anywhere, right? You come broken.
You come broken, yeah.
That's right. You come broken, and you let Jesus fix you, right? And we're just tools to help push you in that direction. And I love it, man. I love to see
there's hundreds and hundreds of stories, man. I've seen it. You've seen it. There's a lot of viewers here. Your ladies that are watching this. Get your husbands to check out Real Men Ministries. Get them on there. Check this stuff out. This is incredible stuff. It changes lives. It changes communities. It changes churches. You got to think, men, we're designed to lead. When you have a strong men's leader or men's ministry in a church, your church is going to thrive. And it's not that we are one flesh together. So please don't take that in any other fashion than it's just trying to build up leaders within men. And the Real Men's Ministry, they're doing that. And Anthony, and you are an incredible guy, dude. This relationship is going to just grow and thrive as we talk about thrive. You are the epitome of thrive. Business owner, men's minister, you six kids. Man, this is incredible, man. I'm so happy to have you on the show today, though.
Man,
hey, buddy. Hey, Anthony, I want to give a plug. You've got an event coming up in January. Now, we're going to have him back to talk about that, but I want you to get that plug in right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Real Men Discipleship Conference is what it's called, and so what it's geared towards is if you are every speaker that we have speakers coming from Canada, we have speakers coming from Massachusetts, Texas, Minnesota. We got them coming from all over, and they all have resources that they can provide you to help you move along. If you're wanting to start a men's ministry, we'll have that. If you have people in your church, or maybe you yourself is dealing with porn, we'll have that. If you're struggling with your finances, or you want to be an entrepreneur, we have that, right? We have all these people, you want to have outreach ministries, we have that, right? And so all these people will come, discipleship, discussion, rubbing elbows with brothers that are just trying to serve Christ and further the church. And then you take those resources and you take them back to your local church, and you build disciples there.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Hey, listen, buddy, we appreciate you being with us, Anthony, and we are so excited. Anthony's going to be back definitely in the future. We're excited about that. Hey, buddy, where did the time go?
Man, it goes so fast, and especially listening to Anthony today, this time just flew, because this is a huge passion of mine, as well as I know it is yours. Man, that was so fun, and just listening more, and we got to get Anthony back.
Yep, we got to have him back. Well, he may become a regular. You just never know. Hey, listen, we want you to go out and thrive.